محمد وعجل فرجهم.
We are here to commemorate the death anniversary of our Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and son of Rasulullah Imam Hasan Mujtaba alayhi salam. On the 28th day of the Islamic month of Safar, both great personalities martyred. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam bin Abdullah, son of Hazrat Abdullah and Sayyida Amina. He was the father of Lady of Paradise, Sayyida Fatima Zahra, and he was the brother of Commander of Faithful Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. He was the grandfather of Husnain Karimain Salamullah alayha. He was the beloved prophet of Allah and last prophet of the chain of the prophet of Allah. He preached in the whole life oneness of Allah and taught Islamic manner and beliefs. Allah revealed his last book, Quran, on the heart of Rasulullah, the book of the full of knowledge. Quran said, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Indeed, the life of the Prophet for you, the best example. Another ayah, Quran said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Do not send except for the mercy of the world. He was the mercy. He got many titles like Sadiq, Amin, and Rahmat lil-Alamin, the book of the full of knowledge. Quran said, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. For Muhammad wa Ahl Bayt Muhammad salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Our heartiest condolences to our Imam of time, Imam al-Hujjah, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and whole Ummah, especially Mu'mineen of Saskatoon, inshallah. Maulana Shaykh Saeed Ali Kulayni will recite about great personality, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and tomorrow we will recite about Imam Hasan alayhi salam. But Muhammad wa Ahl Bayt Muhammad salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
वعجل फरजहु. नात के शब्द के साथ मैं इस महफिल का आगाज करूंगा. दिलों के साथ जमीन जो हम नहीं करते, दिलों के साथ जमीनें जो हम नहीं करते, वो पासे मिदहते खैरुल अमम नहीं करते. किताब हक ने जिन्हें मुस्तफा करार दिया, किताब हक ने जिन्हें मुस्तफा करार दिया, जुज उनके और कोई जिक्र हम नहीं करते. करीम ऐसे के इनाम करते जाते, करीम ऐसे के इनाम करते जाते हैं, जवाद ऐसे के नेमत को कम नहीं करते. जो उनके जादाए रहमत से मुनफरफ हो जाएं, ज़माने उनको कभी मुहतरम नहीं करते. मयस्सर आती है जिनको दरूद की तौफीक. माशाअल्लाह हम हर वक्त दरूद पढ़ते हैं, तो एक आरफ ने क्या खूबसूरत शेर कहा है, मयस्सर आती है जिनको दरूद की तौफीक, किसी भी हाल में हो कोई गम नहीं करते. पर मोहम्मद व अहले बैत मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
I would like to invite Brother Owen to recite Salam. Brother Owen by Muhammad wa Ahl Bayt Muhammad salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
اللهم صل على محمد
وعجل فرجهم.
रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है. रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है. तीरों के साइबाने जनाजा हसन का है. रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। ज़ैनब है नोहा खां तो गिरिया पुना हुसैन। ज़ैनब है नोहा खां तो गिरिया पुना हुसैन। ये कितना सोगवार घराना हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। क्या आज तक सुनी किसी मैयत की वापसी। क्या आज तक सुनी किसी मैयत की वापसी। बस एक जनाजा लौट के आया हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। जो ज़हर हलाहल दिया जो दान हसद को। जो ज़हर हलाहल दिया जो दान हसद को। टुकड़ों में उसने बांटा कलेजा हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। कासिम को कम सीनी में होना परायती। कासिम को कम सीनी में होना परायती। ये कह के खून रोता घराना हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है। तीरों के साहिबा में जनाजा हसन का है। रुखसत का वक्त देखिए कैसा हसन का है।
صل على محمد
وآل محمد وعجل فرجه.
ما شاء الله. ولديك صلوات.
اللهم
اللهم
صل
صل
على
على
محمد
محمد. I would like to invite Brother Hadar Abbas to recite Salam. Brother Hadar Abbas for Muhammad wa Ahl Bayt Muhammad salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه.
عليه السلام.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
ताज़ीर पेश करते हैं। जनाब बीवी फातिमा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम हमारे वक्त के इमाम हमारे ज़माना तख्लीक हम हुए हैं जो ज़हरा की दुआ से, तख्लीक हम हुए हैं जो ज़हरा की दुआ से, मंसूब हर एक सांस रहे कर्म बला से, मंसूब हर एक सांस रहे कर्म बला से, मजलिस को तमाशा न बना अपनी अना, मजलिस को तमाशा न बना अपनी अना का, ज़हरा न चली जाए कहीं पश्चाता से। सवाल
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि
पहले के सवाल
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद।
बीमार चौके अहमदे मुख्तार हो गए, बीमार चौके अहमदे मुख्तार हो गए, ज़हर सितम से मौके आसार हो गए, ज़हर सितम से मौके आसार हो गए, शफ़क़त से फातिमा को बुलाया रसूल ने, समझा के अपने पास बिठाया रसूल ने, जब दामने मुठो को पाया रसूल ने, बिस्तर के बदले उसको बिछाया रसूल ने, सर रख के अपना दाम में दोपहर पे सो गए, रावी का है ये कौन कि बेहोश हो गए, होश आया तो बुलाया हसन और हुसैन को, निपटाया अपने से हर नूरे को, नाना के गम में खोया है सुकून चैन को, रो रो के ये सुनाया शहे मुश्रिकीन को, रो रो के ये सुनाया शहे मुश्रिकीन को, अफसोस आज दागे जुदाई दिखाओगे, सुनते हैं हम ये सबसे हमें छोड़ जाओगे, अफसोस आज दागे जुदाई दिखाओगे, सुनते हैं हम ये सबसे हमें छोड़ जाओगे, बीमार जल के अहमद मुख्तार हो गए, मोहम्मद साहब
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि
माशाअल्लाह ब्रदर हैदराबाद, माशाअल्लाह हमारे दीगर सलावत
अल्लाहुम्मा
सल्ली अला
व आलि
मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। नात के चंद अशार। दिलो निगाह की दुनिया नई नई हुई है, दरूद पढ़ते ही ये कैसी रोशनी है, बस यूं ही तो नहीं आ गया हूँ महफल में, मैं बस यूं ही तो नहीं आ गया हूँ महफल में, कहीं से इज़्न मिला है तो हाज़री हुई है। मुझे यकीन है वो आएंगे वक्त आखिर में, मुझे यकीन है वो आएंगे वक्त आखिर भी, मैं कह सकूंगा ज़ियारत अभी अभी हुई है। पर हबीबे खुदा में मर्तबत पर बुलंदर सलवात।
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
I would like to invite Brother Nader Shah to recite Salam. Brother Nader Shah, Par Muhammad wa Alibat Muhammad Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا رحمن يا رحيم. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن العلم والحكمة والرسالة. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك وعلى أولادك الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، سيما الإمام حسن المجتبى عليه الصلاة والسلام، وإمام الرواف علي بن موسى الرضا عليه الصلاة والسلام جميعا، ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب إله العالمين المصطفى الأمجد أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وآله المعصومين.
اللهم صل على
سيما الإمام المنتظر عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. قال الله تعالى في القرآن العظيم قوله الحق أصدق من الصادقين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل بيتي ويطهركم تطهيرا.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بنده میخواهم مختصرا عرایزم را، سخنانم را به زبان فارسی خدمت شنوندگان محترم، حاضرین و الغایبین، کسانی که صدای این بنده حقیر و فقیر را میشنوند عرض نموده و عرض ادب بنمایم. خداوند تبارک و تعالی در قرآن می‌فرماید و ما توفیق الا بالله. بشر، مؤمنین و مسلمانان اهل بیت بیشک توفیقات خود را از خدا می‌خواهد. البته امام العصر و زمان عجل الله تعالی فرجه الشریف هم برای شیعیان و پیروان اهل بیت دعا می‌کند. در دعای امام زمان هم می‌خوانیم اللهم ارزقنا توفیق الطاعه و بعد المعصیه النیه. خدایا الله برای ماها توفیق عنایت بفرمایید. ما خواهیم توفیق عمل. توفیق الهی همان مقامات و سبب سازی برای رسیدن به هدف است. اما در این میان نباید اختیار و تلاش خود در دعای 24 ماه مبارک رمضان آمده است اللهم انی اسألک ما یحبیک و اعوذ بک مما یغضیک و اسألک التوفیق فإن أطیعک ولا اعصیک. یا جواد السائلین، خدایا من از تو میخواهم در آنچه تو را خوشنود کند و پناه میبرم به تو ای خداوند سبحان از آنچه تو را آزرده خاطر یا بیازارد و از تو خواهم توفیق در آنچه برای اینکه فرمانت برم و نافرمانی تو ننمایم. ای بخشنده سائلان. البته توفیق چیز؟ توفیق معناهای زیادی دارد. این حضور مؤمنین در مجالس ابا عبدالله الحسین، مجالس و مراسم عزا خودش توفیق الهی است. این توفیقات خداوند است که انسان را از خانه میکشاند به سوی مساجد و حسینیه ها و امام بارگاه ها. و توفیقات دیگر از قبیل نماز خواندن به اول وقت است. مؤمن می شود در صورتی که اهتمام به نماز داشته باشد و نمازهایشان را در اول وقت بخواند. این هم توفیق است. البته نماز همهش قبول شدنی است نزد خداوند تبارک و تعالی. بعد اما مثل اینی نماز اول وقت از نظر ارزش و پاداش و اجر زیادتر از نمازهایی که انسان در اول وقتش نمیتواند بخواند است. سومش توفیقات انسان. اگر خداوند برای انسان توفیق عنایت فرمود، خداوند دستگیری بندگان خدا را در جا و شهر و دولتی که است یا غیر از فراتر از دولتشان دست فقیر، بیچاره، مظلوم را میگیرد، یا توسط پول و مبلغ یا اینکه توسط سفارش‌ها، اینها توفیقات الهی است و توفیق که آخر بنده میخواهم دربارش صحبت نمایم. بعضی ها غیر از دین اسلام است، دین مسیحیت و ادیان دیگری که خداوند برایشان توفیق میدهد دین اسلام را پذیرا می شود. خب توسط البته راهنمایی ها و ارشادات علمای اسلام، ارزن مثلا علما از طریق سایت ها و خارج از کشور پیغام رسول مکرم اسلام و صدای قرآن و صدای اهل بیت را برای جهانیان میرساند. این سخنان و این گفتارها تأثیری بسزای برای همه بشر میگذارد. یکی از این نمونه ها این است که ما از روزی که در این شهر ساسکاتون آمدیم تا حالا الحمدلله موفق شدیم و خداوند این توفیق داده است که خود را در خدمت اسلام و مسلمین قرار بدهیم و از اون زمان، از ابتدا که این شاید 15 سال می شود تا به حال 4 نفر به دین اسلام و مذهب تشیع مشرف شده اند که البته دوشنبه شب گذشته کسی از برادران مسیحی ما آمد و خداوند تبارک و تعالی برای ایشان توفیق عنایت فرمود که به دین اسلام و مذهب شیعه در همین حسینیه، در همین امام بارگاه مشرف شود. الحمدلله این همه از برکات جهود علمای اسلام و شما مؤمنین و مؤمنات گرامی در حسینی اسوسییشن آف ساسکاتون است که البته فخر و بال اونها که در پیش این کار میکنه کارها به خوبی و به درستی پیش می رود. خب این توفیق خداست که برای ما و شما کسانی از غیر دین ما میاد آمدن به دین اسلام مشرف شدن و برای اون شخصی که هم مسلمان شد روز دوشنبه گذشته هم توفیق خداست که امروز راه را از چاه پیدا نموده است. خداوند تبارک و تعالی بشارت داده برای مسلمین و مؤمنین و صبر را و بشر صابرین. ما اگر صبر نماییم و به درجه عالی جهود و کوشش نماییم در راه دین اسلام، انشاءالله تعالی که همه چیز درست خواهد شد. به برکت صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد.
اللهم صل علی محمد و آل
توفیق به معنای کارسازی و موافق گردانیدن علل و اسباب است که در باور معتقدان به ادیان الهی لطفی است از سوی خداوند مهربان که چون شامل حال بنده گردد، او را به طاعت حق برمی انگیزد و از گناه دور می سازد. از امیر مؤمنان علی ابن ابی طالب علیه السلام روایت شده است: التوفیق قائد الصلاح، توفیق کشاننده انسان به سوی پاکی و صلاح است، انسان را میکشاند. توفیق الهی همان فراهم ساختن مقدمات و سبب سازی. توفیق الهی همان فراهم ساختن مقدمات و سبب سازی برای رسیدن به هدف مشروع است. اما در این میان نباید اختیار و تلاش خود انسان را از نظر دور داشت. آدمی باید در راه پیشرفت و تکامل و پیشبرد اهدافش حرکت و تلاش کند و برکت این حرکت و تلاش توفیق الهی است. تلاش انسان برای کسب و خوی و رفتار پسندیده، لیاقت تابیش آفتاب توفیق را بر وی پدید می آورد. علی ابن موسی رضا علیه السلام در نیشابور برای نیشابوری ها می فرماید کلمت لا اله الا الله حسنی فمن دخل حسنی آمن من عذابی. فرزند پیامبر امام الرؤوف علی ابن موسی رضا در صورتی که اهل مشهد و خراسان اهل نیشابور از ایشان نصیحتی را خواستند، فرمودند که کلمه لا اله الا الله حسنی فمن دخل حسنی آمن من عذابی. ای مردم، کلمه لا اله الا الله دشت و قلعه محکمی هست که هر کسی داخل این قلعه و دشت قرار گرفت آمین است از عذاب الهی. بعد ابن رسول الله علی ابن موسی رضا علیه السلام سرش را از کجاوه بیرون نمودند، فرمودند بین شرطها و شروطها. شرط و شروطش ماها اهل بیت هستیم. این است که بعضی هایی که در این اواخر به اسلام و مذهب تشیع مشرف می شوند، اینها داخل دشت و قلعه محکم الهی به نام لا اله الا الله حسنی و فمن دخل حسنی وارد می شود. انشاءالله که اینها و هم شما برادران عزیز و خواهران عزیز که در قلعه و دشت محکم الهی و اهل بیت علیهم السلام داخل شده اید، از همه گزندها و از همه بدیهای دنیا و آخرت محفوظ هستید. صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد و عجل فرجهم. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم الأموات، تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم ارزقنا زيارة حج بيتك الحرام في عام هذا في كل عام. اللهم ارزقنا زيارة قبر رسول الله الأعظم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. اللهم ارزقنا زيارة البقيع عليه السلام. اللهم ارزقنا زيارة قبر الحسين أم الحسين أبي الحسين وجد الحسين أولاد الحسين وأصحاب الحسين. اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارتهم وفي الآخرة شفاعتهم واحشرنا معهم بحق محمد وآل محمد. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
ماشاءالله ماشاءالله و دیگر صلوات. صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. نعره تکبیر، الله اکبر. نعره رسالت، نعره حیدری، حسینیت، حسینیت، یزیدیت، یزیدیت، لبيك يا حسين
لبيك يا
لبيك
حسين.
يا حسين
لبيك يا حسين.
لبيك يا حسين
لبيك يا
ومحمد وأهل بيت محمد صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I would like to invite Maulana Shaykh Saeed Ali Kulayni to recite Majlis tonight by Muhammad Ahle Bayt Muhammad Salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وخاتم النبيين أحمد مجب أبي قاسم محمد مصطفى.
اللهم صل على
محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين. قال الله تعالى في محكم كتاب عزيز. بسم الله الرحمن
Beauty is not what we see from outside. Or in actuality, that person which we may consider to be dirty, that was not groomed, when we get to speaking to this person has such a beautiful nature about himself that when we speak to this person, we find ourselves being drawn towards this person, almost so much so that we find ourselves having a certain type of bond or a love for this person because of something that is within that person. And that thing that is within that person is the true beauty, not the beauty that we consider to be something we see with our eyes. So when we think about beauty, we have to change how we see what is beautiful and what isn't beautiful. Because many times we see a person that's considered to be beautiful, so no, this person is ugly. Who made this person ugly? What made this other person beautiful? You see that what makes a person beautiful, what makes a person unattractive is that the one who has beauty is the one who has good akhlaq. And the one that is unattractive, or we may say not beautiful, is the one who has a bad akhlaq. So in all actuality, what makes a person beautiful is not the appearance, what you see. This is just a surface thing. The true beauty is the beauty that a person has from the behavior in which they had accumulated or what they have learned and what they have put into practice, because you can know all the knowledge about akhlaq and good behavior, but yet in turn you still have a bad behavior. Because once you know these things, you have to put it into practice. I'll give you an example of a person who, this person he had a lot of knowledge, extremely knowledgeable, especially in his time. He excelled in all the sciences, even at a young age. We even hear about him today. In the South, he's seen him. We heard of him, right? We heard of this. It's not like we haven't heard of this person. This person, somebody which we have known. So they said that one time he went to sit in of a class of this one scholar. His name was, of course, he was on Kuya. He went to go sit in of this scholar's class. And what? Awali seen him. He's very knowledgeable, very extreme, very accomplished, very young. So as he's sitting down and he's listening to the lecture in which the scholar was given, he had some walnuts in his hand. So he threw the walnuts on the floor. He told the scholar, tell me the equation of the, you know how walnuts are shaped, cuts of what you call it, created. Tell me the equation of that. In turn, that scholar handed him Kitab al-Akhlaq, the book on Akhlaq. He said that you need this more than I. He said that once you read this book, I will give your answer to you. So it doesn't matter how much knowledge in which you may have, if you don't put that behavior into practice, it's not a fulfilling act. But see, this person, he's very knowledgeable. But yet this other scholar, he said that no, you need this book on akhlaq. Because even though you have the knowledge, your behavior is not up to par. We see that akhlaq or morals is something in which Allah wants us to perfect. He wants us to be upright people, to be the best of character of people, not the worst. Because when we are the best of character, especially as believers, people will find themselves coming towards us and wanting to know, how did you receive such a good behavior, and what are you doing for you to be like this? Please explain this to me, because I would like to know. That's what people say. We have good behavior. They will love it. They want to be around it. So much so that it said that Luqman Hakim was explaining to his son, because we know that he always explained things to his son. He always gave advice to his son. Like how all fathers always give advice to their children. Regardless if their son or daughter is 105 years old, their parents are still giving advice. It never ends. So he's giving advice. He said, even if you was to lose all the wealth in which you had gained, that you can help your family, do not lose a treasure, the treasure of a good character. Good character is a treasure. This is something that we all should try to work towards. We find that in the Surah Shams. Allah we said for Nasi was somehow we try to purify that lower self, to make ourselves much better person, make ourselves much better people, much better believers. We should constantly be trying to fix our behavior look at the Lord has sent down to us. He sent down prophets. He sent down prophets just to teach us Tawheed. Was it just Tawheed? Also, it's taught us something that is called akhlaq, behavior, character, habits in character. Something. We find that the companions of Prophet Isa alayhi used to call him the teacher of goodness. Because they taught goodness, or prophets taught goodness. They tried to bring goodness to the people in which they was giving this message to, because this message was good and in turn it would make that person become good. We hope, right? We hope that this is something that we can explore. But unfortunately, this is what happens in this society. In a society that good behavior, it's almost like a unicorn. Especially with a lot of this social media, where we find that everybody is treating everybody in such a harmful way, hurting people, disrespecting people. And we find ourselves of these youth of these days taking these as examples for us to follow these people. These are the people we take as our examples now. People on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, there's so much other things, Clubhouse, I don't know if they have Clubhouse here. But all these things they have in America, I forgot. Please forgive me. But we look towards these things as how we get some type of guidance, but all actuality, we find ourselves falling short because we go into people who themselves are flawed. And when you go towards people who is flawed, we bound to become flawed ourselves. We're only supposed to go to people that Allah has sent down to guide us. The people who are not flawed, the people who are considered to be the best of morals, or have the best of morals exactly. This is what it is. You know, one time it was this king. They say it was Arab king. Like one time, we always ask for advice. We ask people for advice to help us. Something wrong with asking for advice. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took counsel. His word was the last word. He took counsel. Allah tells us to take counsel. They say one time was this Arab king, and he had good friends with this Roman king. I don't know why he had friends with the Roman king, but he had a friend in the Roman king, And he was asking the king, he said something that was like, I'm worried about the future of my children. That I want to leave them wealth. I want to leave them wealth. I can say, mashallah, leave me the wealth. Give me the wealth. I would love to be left the wealth, mashallah. All the wealth you want to leave me, please. That's the percentage I'm supposed to get. And please leave me, of course, part of your 1/3 in which you have yourself, leave me some of that as well. Inshallah. That's what we say in Amman, right? It's saying we love too. So he asked the king that what would be good to leave my children when they come down to wealth. Now, mind you, this king, he's not Muslim. Neither one of these, maybe the Arab was Muslim. The Roman guy, he wasn't Muslim. Right? He was Roman Christians. Like, I didn't want to know. So he said, but what he said was such profound. He said, for them not to leave them something like money, because money eventually will disappear. Money will go. You find many people have millions of dollars one day, and next day they eat into trash. He says something in which you should leave them is good character. Leave your children good character. Because if you think about when you leave good character, even if a person dislikes that person, it's something they can say that, wow, even though I may not like this person, but he or she has good character. He is she's an upright person. This is something that could go on and build upon. You can build upon this character and make it better and better and better. And not only does this character get better, but it makes you better as you go along. as the more wealth you get, the more mindful you make it, the more greedy you make it, the more, how can I say, not willing to help those who need to be helped. So many different things that can happen with this. But as we look, we see that the true beauty is actually the akhlaq in which we attain through our actions, through the kindness and the generosity, and all those things in which we should aspire to do. Unfortunately, in society nowadays, it would be the opposite, to be tough guys and mean. And say, how nice that, you gotta excuse me, I'm pretty old, I'm not jumping out. And they be having all these weird words, you know. I don't know if they have them here, but in America, they have a lot of these weird words, or I guess like gangsterness and, you know, it's tough and not to be generous and, you know, think about yourself and not to think about no one else. It's all about me. I don't care how you feel. It's about how I feel. Who cares? You're nobody. I'm somebody. But akhlaq, on the other term, does not teach you this. Akhlaq teach you that, oh, you must think about your brother or your sister before yourself. Akhlaq tells you that you must be kind to even your enemy. Not just the person in which is your friend, but even your enemy. Akhlaq tells you not to be harmful to anyone, regardless of how high they are in stature or how low that society can put this person. A person with good akhlaq does not see people as that way. They see people as human beings, and as human beings, I must treat them in the utmost respect, with kindness. This is what akhlaq teaches. This is what good behavior teaches us. Now, what ugly behavior teaches us is to do the opposite, not to teach them, or not to treat them well, not to do good by them. It's all about me, and that's all that matters. Is how I feel. How I feel. We find that even though we are believers sometimes, and we have knowledge, like how we see that Abu Ali Sina that had knowledge, and we find that sometimes we are ones with knowledge, and we also ones who may pray, we may fast, and we may do all types of things. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One time I was told about a lady, they said there's a lady that she prays night prayer, she do salatul layl, she fasts, she do all the ibadah. But here's the catch. It says she has bad character and she is rude to her neighbors. What do you think Rasulullah said? Anybody can imagine what Rasulullah said. But just think for a moment. Here it is, this person did all the ibadah, but has bad character, was rude and nasty to one's neighbor. So Allah said that this lady is no more than she is an inmate of the hellfire. You know all that. We find situations that people are extremely rude to one another, but yet they worship as though they are saints. But yet they have no problem thinking that even though I worship like I'm a saint, that Allah is He's gonna forgive me, He's gonna treat me well, He's gonna put me to paradise, there's no problem. But yet I have no problem with treating Abdullah and Fatima and everybody else bad. But yeah, I have to do my salah, I have to step all night and fast, I have to do all this stuff. But you know what? I don't like you. I talk bad to you, I'm nasty to you, oh I'm mean, I curse at you, all the things of above. They're in the hellfire. So these things in which we do have to also match up with the goodness. We cannot just do one and not do the other. You cannot pray and then go and do some wrong, right? It doesn't matter any wrong. You can't do this and do that. No, everything in what you do have to be upright. You cannot be just religious on this end and say, how can I say it? It's time for salat, let's go salat. Hey, I believe we'll go to this open text, right? call disco Texas. I don't know what they call them now, clubs, I don't know. They call them something else. You can't do that. No. You have to be upright and beautiful all around. Or you'll be considered how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said about this lady. This is things in which we have to think about. The purifying of oneself and making ourselves better. Every day that we are on this earth, we should try to make ourselves better. And a day that we have not learned to make ourselves better is a day in which we have lost. Because we are in the business of gaining, believe it or not. As we are on this earth, we are in the business of gaining. Like, think about that. As we go through this earth, we're supposed to gain what? Deeds. And where do these deeds supposed to go? Ahead of us. And what do these deeds that go ahead of us supposed to do? Help us. And what they're supposed to help us in what way? To make that our hereafter be much comfortable for us when we finally get there. So we are in the business of this. This is the business of us to accumulate. To accumulate these deeds, and when we have good akhlaq, we find that we can accumulate goodness. Just imagine if you have good akhlaq and you help somebody, or you treated somebody good, and you change how a person thought. It's got to be some type of love in that, isn't it? Example. We all Muslims say alhamdulillah, right? We find that being Muslim is very difficult, especially if you're a young person like us, you know how we are. Young people. Very difficult when we're young and we deal with people and they have these misconceptions about who and what is. But unfortunately, we find ourselves want to blend in with everybody else, unfortunately, and not be different, not to show the beauty of Islam, but to try to emulate those who are against Islam. Those who find Islam as something ridiculous and something that they could ridicule. We want to mix in with these people. Right? Unfortunately. But now, if we show them how Islam is through our character, and we change how they see Islam, in turn it would change how they think, and in turn their actions would change. And this would happen only because of the akhlaq in which we start to practice, in which we have learned from our beloved Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He didn't just teach people or have people convert to Islam because of his words, it was his actions. Let me give an example. They said one time that a person, it was a Jewish man, they said that Rasulullah had owed him a debt. So he said, I'll come to collect my money. I'll come to collect my fulus, my nakud, my dinar, my taman, whatever you want to call it, right? Come to collect. So Allah said, I don't have any money right now. So Yahudi said, I'm going to stick around. No problem. At the same time, this person was like kind of ridiculous. So much so that the companions was like, oh, so we should do something to this guy. They didn't say it that way, but this is my interpretation of how they might have been saying. We should really hurt this guy and like, as they said, Harry said, do some work towards him, But of course the hadith don't go that way, but my imagination had me thinking this is what they meant. Rasulullah said, that's all I can. You're probably like, I want this guy out of my face. I want him away from me. No problem, man. Let's do this. Of course, Rasulullah said no. So instead of Yahudi, he stayed almost 24 hours. He stayed with Fajr, he stayed Lord, he stayed Masa, he stayed Maghrib, he stayed Isha, he stayed over to the next time. But the wonderful thing about this, even though he was coming to connect the net, he was also learning something as well. He was learning the true character of someone like the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And because of this, and he saw how he was treated by him, that this person accepted Islam and forgave the debt. It wasn't by the words of Rasulullah, it was by his character, by the character which he had. That this person who was against Rasul, that was come to collect his money, it was mistreating Rasul so bad that the companions wanted to do something to him. In turn, became a believer at the end of the day. How many times we deal with people and they stay the same? It's crazy. So it's a place where I live in Georgia, and they got the best halal place, got the best, man, the best meat pizza. It was like all meat pizza, right? Oh my gosh, the best. Mashallah. Woo. Started thinking about it. So the best meat pizza you can ever have halal, right? All halal, they top the meat on there, they put butter parmesan around the crust. So they had this one non-Muslim girl, and she worked it. So one day I asked her, I was like, you ever thought about becoming Muslim? She said, listen what she said. She said, I did until I started working with Muslims. Now, is this the type of reaction in which we want to hear or have? She said she thought about becoming Muslim until she worked around the Muslims. So somewhere down the line, we have done something wrong that when people come around us, that we actually push them away, and it's not supposed to be, because Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was sent down as a prophet, as a messenger, to teach us character, to teach us about morals. And in turn, these morals in which we learn is supposed to illuminate out of us. And whoever's kept this light supposed to be thrilled about this light and be drawn towards this light. But yet, we try to emulate these people that are the opposite of us, thinking that what they have is better than what we have. But all actuality, we're like that person that you see, they keep on digging and digging and digging. All you have to do is hit the earth one more time and he get the diamonds. And the other guy, he turns away and he keep on digging when he has no diamonds. Our problem is we have the diamonds, but yet we turn away from it. See the problem? We should be the ones that's teaching this akhlaq in which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given us, in which Allah has said that he is the best of examples. Allah has said he was the okay of an example. He didn't say that he's somewhat of a good example. He said that he's the best of example. This is the one in which we're supposed to turn towards as our example. And in turn, because he is the best example, better than the examples in which we may see on television, on radio, in front of us, or whoever these personalities may be that we take as our examples, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is better than this person as an example. It is not the words in which I've said. These are the words in which Allah has said. And what Allah has said is the truth, because he is the creator of everything that is in the heavens and the earth. And he knows his creation better than his creation of themselves.
आवाज़ बुलंद सलावत
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला
दीगर सलावत
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला
You know, the thing that we have to allow, people will love you. The enemies will respect you. The problem is that we find ourselves trying to emulate others that is not worthy of us to emulate. You know what? Let's emulate. We have the best. It's almost like we go for spirituality. You know, I'm sure, I'm going to go into Sufi to become a little spirituality. But like when all Sufi ones go back to Imam Ali alayhi salam. It's like, you can find people do this. You have everything, you have everything you see right there, but yet we start to look outside for something in which we have within. And this is the problem. We have the best of examples. All we have to do is follow this example, put these examples into our life, and make ourselves better people, better Muslims, better believers, inshallah. And in turn, this light will shine upon those who come around us. If of a speech of a poem by Saeed. He said, I am an Ambrose because I am in the company of an Ambrose. But if I was not in the company of the Ambrose, I'll be just a piece of wood. Of course, I butchered the Saudi poem, but the moral story is that this piece of wood or this substance, because it was around the Ambrose, it became like the Ambrose. It has the same fragrance of that Ambrose, the same character of that Ambrose. But if it wasn't for him being around or being with that Ambrose, it would just be a simple piece of wood. Something that's very simple. What I'm saying is that we align ourselves around the character and learn the character of Rasulullah, we'll find ourselves becoming better, much better. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So just thinking about also story of any ideas. Know that during this time when he was Khalifa, snakes always walk the markets. He used to walk the markets. Even when he was Khalifa, he just be walking around. And they said that it was a girl, she was crying, she was upset. What happened was that the girl, she had sent to the dates. She sent the dates, and the person that sold her the dates had given her best quality dates. Because of this, her master didn't want these dates, and he told her to go back. She was so he saw that this child was in this place, walking around. So in turn, he asked what's wrong. She told him the situation that my master did not like the products of the grapes and it was dates, and he wanted his money back. So people didn't even went to the person. He said, this girl, she's saved. She has no control over her life, her own self. No control whatsoever. And that's the one that money back. Please refund the money. Now, what's weird about this story is that a person with good akhlaq, doesn't matter who you are, you don't treat everybody good, right? So this person, he came and he went towards the room, he went and he pushed a room. Now, of course, everybody around like, whoa, what's going on here? Because God didn't know who he was. Everybody around him. So they said that you know who this person is. So this is a real small person become so apologetic. I'm sorry, please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. He only said, I'm not forgive you until you correct your behavior. See, I just say example here. You find that people only treat people good when they know their stature, their status. And when a person is trying to become a better person by practicing the morals and akhlaq or salawats or Islam, that it didn't matter who they may be, regardless of who they are. Rasulullah was good to everyone. He didn't like people to give him reverence. This is a beautiful thing about Rasul. He didn't like people to give him any type of reverence. One of the companions said that when the Rasulullah used to come, we would never stand up for him. Stand up for him. To, you know how get ready to stand up. He wouldn't stand up. He said, why? He said, because he hated them. He didn't want nobody to give him reference. He didn't want that. See how humble Rasulullah was. That he didn't want people to give him any type of reverence. Now you see us, we said, please everybody stand. Yes, 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 man. Thank you, yes, yes. These 5 more minutes of standing for me. Yes, thank you, thank you. Right? How it is, please stand. Thank you. Rasulullah, he did not like that. He didn't like people give him reverence. He didn't want that. This is an example of good akhlaq. A good example for us to look at, to watch, to be like. The character of Rasulullah was so great, so wonderful, so beautiful, as you can see throughout the lifetime of Rasulullah, that many people became Muslim just because of how he acts. But all the stories in which we hear about how he was even more beautiful when we look at him. When we think of Rasulullah, we think of someone of a prophet of Allah in that he had many people following him. And normally when we think that many people following him, well, nowadays or after Rasulullah, we think about people have followers. They may have some type of distinction to let people know that who they are. Maybe a throne, maybe a nice castle, maybe a nice gold ring, whatever it may be. It's something that shows the people that this person is the one who everyone follows. Example, like our kings got thrones with furry jackets and gold crowns, right? To show that this person is the king, but we should follow this person. This is the one we're supposed to go towards. Right? They said that when they had people coming from outside to go see Rasulullah, he used to sit with the people and they did not know who the Rasulullah was from the average person. That he would sit amongst the people and he would blend with the believers. They didn't know who he was. It was so bad that they said, no, Rasulullah, they had to make a mount to distinguish, to let people know that he is Rasulullah. They didn't know. He did not consider himself better than no one. He didn't consider himself better than no one. That's on the other hand, we think this way. The reason why I'm saying these things is that we have to look at the Rasulullah and think about the things in which he did and say, do we do the opposite or are we doing what he did? Because if he is our example, we must follow it, that example. We don't just say it by words, but we say it also, we do it in our actions, exactly. This is how it's supposed to be. This is what I thought it was supposed to be. Maybe I'm wrong. There's a lot of times I could be wrong. Possibility. So one of the things which he did, he's no better than me. Because we see that as believers, what makes us better than one another is our deeds. It's not the growth in which we gain in this world. This world is nothing. We all have the same grade. We all thought we have the same grade, 6 feet. Trust me, I understand. Many people have the same grade. Same thing. But our deeds makes us better. The deeds in which we have sent forth ahead of us, that we strive through our goodness to try to help others. Because when you have good akhlaq, you help others. You teach others through your actions, through your words. Not only do you do with your words, but also you keep your word. You find that people that have good behavior, they also keep their word. Have good character, they keep their word. When you think of a person that has bad akhlaq, you think of someone who is a liar, who does not keep their word. Now, disclaimer here, there's instances in which we are not able to keep our word. And some things happen that we try our best and we're not able to keep that word. This is different. We're talking about the person who know that they can't do it, right? But yet in turn they say they're going to do it, and have the other person believe that they're going to do it, have the other person think and wait for them to do it, and never do it. Let me give you 2 examples of Rasulullah words. This one of them is that we are famous with. The one that he said he was going to meet somebody somewhere, and he waited for that person, and that person never came. And he said, no. They was like, oh, please, Rasulullah, stand over here in the shade. He said, no, I said, I'm going to wait for this person here in the Hasan. We all familiar about that. The person, it took like a day or 2 to come. And he said, oh, Rasulullah, I forgot. Rasulullah, he stayed there. He showed them that we made a deal, so we made a agreement to be here. That a person who has good akhlaq, they must fulfill the things in which they have agreed upon. Because if you do not fulfill that, then you are the opposite of one who has good akhlaq. You become someone that is not trustworthy. Right? Of course. No one want to be considered untrustworthy, right? No. Look at what it means for us to alone with Saeed. Right? Trust. It was funny, this reminds me of a story. It was from one of his uncles, and he was, I can't think of his uncle was, mashallah. It was one of the ones that was against him, I can't think of his name. And one of the companions of his uncle was saying, you talk about Muhammad, because they don't say Prophet Allah, so you talk about Muhammad as though you believe in what he said. There was something deep in which this polytheist, the idol worship, that was uncle had said. He said, Muhammad was truthful. He became untruthful when he said he's a prophet. Why? No, he's still truthful. The people started saying he wasn't truthful because they didn't want to follow him. So he's trying to show them that yes, he was truthful then and he's truthful now. So he said, if you feel this way, why don't you follow him? He said, how can I follow him? So Rasulullah was always truthful from the very beginning. So much so that one time that Abu Dhar, he had said to Rasulullah, I know a place in which, we could go to that we could actually, have our animals eat off the ground. Have our cattle feed off the ground. So Abu Dhar, he told Rasulullah, it's at this place right here. So Rasulullah said, we'll meet you at this time and we took it. This is what he said. He said, I will meet you at this time and we both will feed our animals. So Rasulullah, he went there. Abu Dhar, he came late. He said, Rasulullah, why did you not start without me? He said, did I tell you that we both are going to feed our animals together? And I was just waiting for you to come to do it together. You see this? This is a sign of good akhlaq. When you heard the words of Rasulullah, he said, both of us. And he kept the word about waiting for him. Normally what would happen was like, well, Abu Dhar, he's not here. Let me start ahead of him. There's no problem. When he comes, he can finish with and continue along with us. No, Rasulullah said, no, like I said, both of us. So because I said both of us, we're going to do this together. We're going to do this together. MashaAllah. Someone who keeps these examples, we don't see these examples. Keep our word, akhlaq. Not thinking ourselves better than other people, akhlaq. Think of others before ourselves. These hadiths in which we are read, that we read, are just not something we just read. It is because it's there, we just read it. No, these are something in which we should take and bring them into our lives. A lot of times when people come to us and ask us something to eat, like say our friend, like, oh man, Saeed, let me get a piece of your cheeseburger. Oh man, get away from me, man. I don't want to give you none of my cheeseburger. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I ain't on my cheese. Why don't you get your own cheeseburger? This is only what we say, right? Or this is what we do. Well, some of us, a lot of us are good people. We actually said, come eat. So they said that one time I saw he was sitting down. And they said that it was a rude lady. She said that you sit like a slave. You on the floor. No, that's normal how we eat. You're on the floor. We're not in a restaurant. On the floor. Said, oh, you eat like a slave. Said, no, I'm a slave. The lady was real rude to us, bro. And she said, give me some of your food. So somebody went to give him some of the food, first some of the food. She said, no, I want the food out of your mouth. What would our reaction would be? What? We're going to tell her to get out of here. I'm not going to give you the food out of my mouth. What type of message is this you thinking? Why would you want to take the food out of my mouth? How do you think Rasulullah with his companions? And let's think about how we would have handled it. We would have handled exactly how I said it. Get away from that. I will give you the food out of my mouth. Why would you think I'm going to do that? Why would you think I'm going to give you the food out of my mouth? No, I'll just take this. I'm chewing this. Why are you going to do that? Rasulullah with his his arm, took a piece of raw soup out of his mouth. The lady ate that person. We don't ridicule that person. We just thought that person was crazy. The way that person came towards us, we would have not shown the best of ourselves to that person. We would have been, as they said, irate. That's right. We would not have been good to them. Not at all. And that same hadith, Imam jumped the Sadiq alayhi salam, he said he said in that same hadith, he said that because of what the Rasulullah did by feeding her that food out of her mouth, that she never became sick until she died. I kind of said to myself, she kind of knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. But the moral story is that how Rasulullah he treated her. Even though she gave him that crazy request of taking the food out of his mouth and to give it to her, he still did it. Why is this? Rasulullah, he used to treat the believers. The believers were able to get anything from Rasulullah. He could treat the believers extremely kind, extremely good. But he didn't just treat the believers that way, he treated humanity. Humanity this way. This is to show us that one person over another. No, yes, we have a connection to the Muslims, but we also have a connection to the people that are not Muslim, because they are our people, they are our brothers and sisters in humanity. It's what that said to us. And because of this, we must be good to them. We must be good. We must learn what Allah has sent down to us. Allah has sent down 124,000 prophets teaching us akhlaq. And the best of all of us, Allah, so we should take from him and implement these good characteristics into our lives to make ourselves much better people, much better Muslims, much better believers. If not, we have wasted our time. And as we know, our time is short on this place, on this earth. Life is short. We're dead longer than we are alive. So we must not waste any time. We must constantly build ourselves and make ourselves better on this earth. Because today you're 18, 19 years old, tomorrow you're 60, 65 years old, and when you look back, it'd be like almost like this. So I can remember I was 19 years old, now I'm 65 years old. It's so much time which I had wasted. I should have did more worship. I should have fixed my character. I should have done more. We are not in the business of regret. Islam is the business of movement. And as Muslims, we should constantly be in movement. Movement towards Allah, movement towards Rasulullah, the movement towards making ourselves better human beings, better Muslims, better believers. And we are running out of time. We don't have much time. We cannot waste our time. We must take advantage of all time. That's what Allah said. We see this because we are not taking an example of the one in which Allah has told us to take as an example of the Lord Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Even though we find that his death is called the Lord Prophet, how we lost it, it's almost though that we have not lost our soul. It's almost though he is still with us. But there's teaching that was left behind, the words of the companions, or those who have seen him. There's something that is left
For us, the people who have never seen him, and they never seen him like this way. So when we talk about his death, I always say, no, let's talk about his life. Let's talk about how Rasulullah lived amongst the people. What did he do around the people? What was his accomplishments? And one of the things in which he left to people was an example of good akhlaq. This is true, which something in which we should leave. We are no longer here. When people ask about how Muhammad was, not us, but say our name was Muhammad, said, man, he was the best people I have ever known. He has such a great character. How did he have his character? I think he was one of those Muslims. Oh, he was a Muslim. Ah, he learned that from this Muhammad? Yes. You mean his prophet, Muhammad Islam? Yes. Let me look into what's this all about. This is what akhlaq does. It makes people inquire on how to see. May Allah help us all. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa as'alana bisamalafiqus. للذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. آخر دعوانا والحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
Ya Hüseyin, Ya Hüseyin. लोगों ये जनाजा है इस्लाम के बानी का आबाद हो रहा है करबल की कहानी का आबाद हो रहा है करबल की कहानी का लोगों ये जनाजा है इस्लाम के बानी का राज हो रहा है कल की कहानी का राज हो रहा है कल की कहानी का तो ये जनाजा है इस्लाम के बानी का बीवी ने कहा बाबा करबल में चले आना बीवी ने कहा बाबा करबल में चले आना मंजर मैं दिखाऊंगी अकबर की जवानी का लोगों ये जनाजा है इस्लाम के बानी का आगाज हो रहा है करबल की कहानी का आगाज हो रहा है कट जाएंगे बाजू भी पास बाबा के कट जाएंगे बाजू भी पास बाबा के तीनों से होगा चटनी मछली सब पानी का वो ये जनाजा है इस्लाम के बानी का
बिखरेगा करबला में कातिल के सर का तेरा, बिखरेगा करबला में कातिल के सर का तेरा, खुशियाँ समेट देगा आलम वीरानी का। लोगों ये जनाजा है इस्लाम के बानी का, आजाद हो रहा है कल की कहानी का, आजाद हो रहा है। काश मेरे मौला मुश्ताक रहूं तेरा, काश मेरे मौला मुश्ताक रहूं तेरा, जाए शरफ मुझको बस दे गुलामी का। तो ये जनाजा है इस्लाम के बानी का, आजाद हो रहा है कहानी का, आजाद हो रहा है कहानी का। बीबी ने कहा बाबा करबल में चले आना, बीबी ने कहा बाबा करबल में चले आना, इस्लाम के बानी का, आजाद हो रहा है कहानी का। या हुसैन
अस्सलामु अलैका या रसूल, अस्सलामु अलैका या नबी अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या हबीब अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या सय्यद खैर खल्क़िल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या जद्द अल-हसन वल-हुसैन, अस्सलामु अलैका या अबुल क़ासिम मुहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु, अस्सलामु अलैका या अबा अब्दिल्लाह وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. سيدنا مولا بالفضل العباس وفاطمة مولاة السيدة زينب وإمام حسن مجتبى وشهداء كربلاء جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا قريب الغرباء السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس السلام عليك يا أنيس النفوس السلام عليك أيتها المدفون بأرض الدوس السلام عليك يا سلطان بن علي بن موسى يا الرضا السلام عليك وعلى آبائك السبعة وعلى أولادك الأربعة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك وعلى أختك فاطمة معصومة سلام الله عليها السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان الأمان من فتنة الزمان السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان يا خليفة الرحمن يا شريك القرآن يا إمام الإنس والجان يا مظهر الإيمان يا قامع الكفر والتبيان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسأل الله تعالى مخرجك وزورك اللهم اجعلني من أعوانه وأنصاره ومستشهدين بين يداي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها تمينا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين على الأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات والشهداء والصديقين وعلماء ومراجع ماضي خصوصا شهداء مسجد أفغانستان الذين هم استشهدوا بالظلم والجور والعدوان وبرايا مرتشي أمواتنا وأموات حاضرين والغائبين وشادي روح پیامبر بزرگ اسلام محمد مصطفى وإمام حسن مجتبى وإمام علي الرضا وجميع أئمة المعصومين براي شادي قلب إمام الزمن عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وتعجل ذا الفرج وليعس أرواحنا له الفداء براي خلق روز وكاميابي مجاهدين والآخذين الكفار والمشركين الفاتحة مع السلامات الحمد لله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا علي